Hello, everyone. This is PJ from Insights of a Survivor. I want to thank you again for coming in for another week. Thank you for coming in a little early this week. We have a special guest, and we got to kind of accommodate everyone because we want everyone to have an opportunity to share their story. So whenever you need to get on here, I'll make sure I make a way for you. Don't worry about that. But before we do, I would like to have a trigger warning. Of course, I want to acknowledge that today's episode will cover sensitive topics including survivorship and the healing journey. Some content may be sensitive or triggering for listeners who experience trauma. Please take care of yourself while listening. Pause if needed and support yourself. Prioritize yourself, okay? Always prioritize yourself. So I want to welcome all of you beautiful souls back to Insights of a Survivor, the podcast for those who have lived through the unthinkable and still found a way. Of course, again, I'm PJ, a survivor, a truth teller, and someone that believes that pain does not get the final say in our stories at all. Um, this show is where survivors take center stage over everything in their life, sharing real, raw stories, stories of trauma, healing, transformation. And I started this show because I do know firsthand how it feels to be isolated and be in a painful part of our journey, and how traumatizing that can be on our who we are as a person. I know what it feels to be silenced, and too often we are silenced, and that silence weighs us down by shame, fear, and unanswered questions. My mission is to break that silence and create a space where healing isn't just possible, it is expected. This podcast is the labor of love, born from a deep commitment to uplift voices that are often ignored or forgotten. Here, we don't just talk about survival, we dig into what really matters to rise from the ashes of our past, to reclaim our identities, and to rebuild our lives on our own terms. Each episode, I want to challenge the stigma around trauma, mental health, and survivorship while providing practical insights for anyone navigating their own healing journey. Through the purpose of this episode, it fits right into the heart of what Insights of a Survivor is all about. So many of us, we know what it feels like to be trapped by fear, right? The kind that kind of holds us back from stepping into our true purpose, from loving ourselves fully, and from breaking the cycles that keeps us stuck. Fear is a really, really powerful tool, and often a silent oppressor that shows up in our minds, shows up in our bodies, and it's kind of whispering lies in our ears, like we're small children trying to kind of keep us hidden. But here we choose courage. We choose to say enough is enough. And that's why today's conversation is so important. My guest, she's dedicated her life to helping others break up with fear, to walk boldly into purpose, self-care, and into freedom. She speaks about authority, trauma, faith, and the power of embracing your true identity beyond pain. She is a guiding light for many who has felt forgotten or silenced, especially women navigating the complexities of faith and healing. I'm deeply honored to introduce my next guest. She was actually a guest on my Fearless and Flourishing. She was a speaker, on my Fearless and Flourishing Summit back in February. Carolyn J. Murphy. She is my next guest of Insights of a Survivor. She is a certified peer recovery specialist and the purpose breakup coach who works with professional Christian women over 40, empowering them to break generational cycles and prioritize themselves without guilt. She helps women step into their God-given purpose, and she's known as a voice in the wilderness. That's beautiful. I love it. Carolyn boldly speaks on the intersection of trauma, faith, and purpose, bringing hope and healing where those of us need it the most. So I'm going to bring her in, you guys, right now. Hello, Miss Carolyn. How are you today?
Hello. Thank you for blessing me to be a part of your audience today.
Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming. You guys don't know this, but me and Miss Carolyn, we met back in like January, February, and we've been kind of figuring it out. And she asked me, was like, "Have I been on your show yet?" And I'm just like, "I don't think you have." Oh, oops. let's get you on there. So I want to thank you for being patient with me. She, like I said, she done been on my summit. She met me before I even thought about having that summit, and she done been on my
Hmm.
summit.
Hmm.
I believe we were on that missions accepted podcast with Miss Deb Drummond.
I
We've
think
done
so.
things together, and then she was finally like, "Let's get it together, sis. We got to get her on the podcast." So here we are. Here we are, Miss Carolyn, and I thank you again so much for being on the show.
I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to some good old talking.
Yes, ma'am. Well, then let's jump on in there. Can you share a moment in your life when you felt fear was completely overwhelming to you, like a moment that pushed you to the edge, and what
Mm.
was that like emotionally and mentally for you?
There were two times that fear basically pushed me to the edge. Fear was so prevalent in my life to the point where I worried myself almost to a stroke twice.
Mm,
The first time I was working, I think it was in 2000. Went to the doctor and my pressure was like up 200 over 100 and something.
mm-hmm.
And this last time it happened, it was in 2018. Um, I worked myself into almost a stroke, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. And I remember the Lord coming to me, and it's like, okay, I'm here. You just gotta, just gotta say yes.
That is beautiful. So that was your turning point when you realized that fear no longer had control over your story. So how did you begin to start that journey when you started to break up with fear?
The the breakup started when in 2018 the Holy Ghost came to me and said, "Give me your life. You have made a mess of it, and I can just take it from here." And at that point, it was like I had tried to turn over every leaf, every rock. I had did all that I could do, and when you've done all that you can do, you work past exhaustion. And it was like I'm tired. It's what else could I lose?
Yeah, I get that. I'm tired. Look, I
Hmm.
think we've all been there. So your
Hmm.
work, it kind of centers around helping women break generational cycles. Can you kind of talk about how your own story of trauma and healing led you to this calling?
Well, me being a peer, Tennessee certified peer mental health advocate, I was a mental health advocate long before I became a peer. And the thing was for me, you sometimes you look at your family and you see where um, their life was is didn't come or wasn't measured up to what they wanted because they
Carolyn, we
talk
kind of
about.
lost you there. You completely froze, and we didn't get to hear any of that inspirational answer that you. As soon as I finished the question, you froze, and
Okay.
we haven't been able to hear it. I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
It's really, really, really
Really?
broken.
Let's see. How is this? How is
It's
this?
coming. It's a almost. You're just trying to stop you from sharing this message, and it's always when it's time for you to share that message is when someone's attacking you to make you trying to kind of stop you from sharing that message with
Hmm.
everybody. Because I counted the minute you was getting into that, it just froze.
How about this?
It's still broken up really bad.
Still work. Hello? Is that better?
Mm-mm.
It's not
I mean, I
better?
can hear you, but again, it's really pixelated and it's very broken. Like I can hear you
Hmm.
trying to say something, but it's not coming out completely.
How's this? Is that better?
I
Really?
no, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That is okay. Technology won't work all this.
I mean, I'm
Hello?
hearing you a little better now. I heard you say it's okay.
How is that? That's
Mm-mm.
still
Can you
not
see me?
better.
Can you hear me?
I can see you. Can you see me?
Okay.
Okay.
Because you're completely frozen, and I haven't been able to get your screen to move. My that I was having those same kind of problems, those technical difficulties last week. It's always something.
How about now?
Uh,
That's still not good.
no, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. How about now?
Your voice is coming in a little better, but you're still frozen.
Wow. Okay. Let's see.
Mm-mm.
Let's see.
You might have to refresh it and come back in while I
Okay.
try to find a way to distract our viewers. For
Okay.
technical difficulties happen, people. It's
Yes.
okay. And in
Yes.
times like this, all we have to do is just stay calm,
Hmm.
take a couple of deep breaths, and kind of
Hmm.
reset our minds. Like we might have to reset this laptop, and she's gonna be right back on. That's what life. That's what my beautiful friend sister, I'm sorry, Coach Kiss calls life in. Life's like that. So sometimes when life gets a life in, we have to reset and we have to, jump back on. And it's okay. It's okay because you know what? I'm still here with you guys. And what I could do is let you guys understand that I'm trying to woosah myself because I don't really like to feel like I feel in myself the way I feel right now. That's what we could do. Adjust my right now. I feel like I'm kind of not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a host, showing up, but that's not necessarily the case. What's happening is something I have no control over, and then what I do now is she's back on. That's gonna be if her computer's ready. She's getting back on, and I have to understand and know that you guys understand that stuff like this happens sometimes. And when things like this happen, as a community, this shows us that healing is. This is my point when we say healing is not easy. Healing is not linear. Healing is always got its obstacles because this woman who who's here to share a message and things are starting to happen to stop her from sharing that message because it's a message that you need to hear. I'm going to try to put you back in, Miss Carolyn, but your computer is still completely black. I don't see you at all.
Can you hear me?
And now you're still. I can hear you broken again, but it's
Okay.
not at all. Okay,
Oh
wait,
my
wait.
goodness.
Yeah, and now your screen is completely black. I don't know if your camera's on.
Yes, it's on.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay. We can go keep on trying.
Okay. I'll try again.
It's okay. So I'm gonna put you back in the back studio again, and we gonna there we go. She gonna try this, and she might have to reset her computer, you guys. So while we do this, well then you know what? I could talk about what I have coming up soon. It is my story, my strength challenge. I've been posting a lot on my social media. I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or my sister from Passionistas, but I have a challenge that I'm going to be starting on Sunday, which guys is my birthday. I will be 46, y'all. I don't care. I love it. I love it because there was a time people didn't think I was gonna live to be 26. So I will be 46 come June 1st. Gemini gang, y'all, what? And I'm gonna be using this opportunity to challenge myself for not a month, not 2 months, not 6 months, but for an entire year. So for an entire year, I'm going to be coming on YouTube, not a whole hour, maybe about 5 to 15 minutes at the most, and share a story about my life, my journey, something that has happened to me in my life, how I handled it, what that situation did to me, how I processed it then, what it made me feel like, and how I'm processing it now. To give you an example, maybe I was bullied, maybe someone kicked me, maybe someone called me a name, and I'm going to talk about that one story, how that affected me, and what I'm doing now to overcome that, how I'm reflecting and changing my mindset from that incident, and how it affected me mentally. So um, that's what I have coming up, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm so excited to get that started with you guys. So things happen. That gave me an opportunity to share that she's back on. Let's see if we can. Your computer still is still black, Miss Carolyn. Let me see. Can I hear you?
Can you hear
I
me?
still can't hear you.
Wow.
Did you reset your computer?
Let me try again.
You might need to just turn the computer off and turn it back on. Don't worry, I'm
Okay.
not going nowhere, Miss Carolyn.
Okay. Let's see.
So okay, so well, we're gonna keep on trying. We're gonna keep on trying. So back to the the things that I'm doing this year. Not only am I doing my story, my strength 365-day challenge that is challenging me to go live every single day for 365 days. That is not something I'm good at. I'm going to stream this on, I'm going to do it on my YouTube. I'm going to do it on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my TikTok, on all of my socials. And I'm going to share a story that is, at one point, I could say was embarrassing. But now I understand how that story is empowering. Y'all know my story with the situation with these motorcycles. Y'all gonna live with it. It's okay. Um, and you're going to walk through turn how I turned my pain into purpose, how I dealt with a lot of the mental health challenges, how I dealt with a lot of the letdowns and a lot of the betrayals. That's what this year is going to do for me. I'm going to show you guys what I did. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, and I'm gonna let you guys see, because a lot of times we just say we got this healing journey and it's not easy. It's not easy, but we don't take you through the steps that we had to go through to process that. So that's what this challenge is going to do. It's challenging me to remember where I came from and step boldly into my healing and step boldly into who I am. But it's also going to show everyone who's going through similar stories that I may be able to resonate with. Another thing I'm doing, which is very new, this is very new. Me and my husband, we kind of worked on this together, is I'm going to have a year of healing. This is not an everyday thing, you guys, because I can't do this every day. But every month, I'm going to have a themed summit that is going to focus on something that is that is about us, about healing. July is where this is going to start. So I'm going to have my first. It is Hope and Silence. That's going to be a summit that's going to be the last weekend, the last Friday, the last Saturday in July. And that's for grieving parents. Now, anyone who knows me knows I lost my son going on 8.5 years ago. Well, a little over 8.5 years ago, I lost my son to gun violence. That was one of the hardest things I've had to ever overcome in my life. Even through all the trauma that I've lived, losing him, he was a part of my heart. Now I have one piece of my heart that's gone that I can never get back. I still have two more pieces. I have two more babies left, but they had to deal with that trauma as well, you know. So um, it's not easy to lose a child. It's not easy to grieve. It's not easy to mourn and still get up and function every day. So I want to create a space for other parents like myself who had to go through that, who had to deal with what it was like to overcome a child, lose a child, and fight through that pain every single day for the rest of their lives and still live. So that's what that summit in July is going to be about. And then the one before that, the weekend before that, is going to be focusing on mental health and minority and members of the BIPOC community, which is Black, Indigenous, people of color. We have a we have a struggle when it comes to mental health. Either we don't have access to the right type of mental health, or we have beliefs that prevent us from trying to go get mental health. So that summit will be the weekend before that, focusing on mental health in our culture, because trauma affects our mental health. So that's where I'm starting. That's where I'm starting, and that's where I'm going to go from there. But we're going to see if Miss Carolyn is working. I see her jump back on. Your screen is still dark, but can we hear you?
Hello.
Miss Carolyn, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
It's still the same. I don't. Is there a storm in your area? Because sometimes when I have storms in my area, it completely messes up my reception.
No, there is no storm at all.
Oh, but I can hear you a lot. That's the best I've heard you in a nice little minute.
And
Even if
you
I can't see you, if I can hear you, it's the message that I want to get out there. That's the most
okay.
important thing to me. Can I? Okay. So,
So how's
well,
this?
this is it's a little pixelated, but it's way better. It's like 90% better than what it
Oh
was. So
wow. Okay.
so let's get back to that question when you were telling us how faith played a significant role in your journey, and how it supported how faith supported or challenged you during your. Okay, I think you might be able to come back on too, but actually that's not where we were. Do you remember the question that we were at?
I think you asked me what oh my goodness. I think you asked me about what caused me to start breaking up with fear, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
there we go. There we go. We were talking about you telling us how you were able to break up with fear. Hold on, let me see. What was the turning point where you realized that fear no longer had control, and how did you begin to break up with fear? That's what the question was. There
Okay.
we go.
Okay. And as I was saying that what caused me to help make up my mind to break up with fear was in 2018 when the Lord came to me and told me that I should give him my life because I made a mess of it. And I just had to totally agree because um, I was walking in my emotions. I was dwelling in all of my emotions, which caused me to be very unstable.
Okay. Okay, I'm believing you said the Lord told you to hand your life over to Him because your emotions became unstable and you were able. Because it's still a little pixelated, but I'm going to try to
Okay.
at least translate it as best as I can. So the Lord comes to you and say, "Hey, you need to give me your life because your emotions are all over the place, and you need to lay your life down to me so that I can help you get a handle of your emotions." Basically, is
That
that
is
kind of
correct. Yes.
there we go. So we gonna get this, Miss Carolyn. If we gonna get your message still, I don't care how we got. Even if we gotta have you come back and do another show, we gotta
Okay.
get that message out there. So, your work centers around helping women. Okay, yeah. Can you talk? That was what we were. We were at. You were talking about your story of trauma and healing and how it led you to this calling, which is basically the similar story about the Lord coming to
Yes.
you, telling you to lay your life down. Okay, that's
Yes.
where we were at. Perfect. So now faith played a significant role in your journey. How
Yes.
did your faith support or challenge you during the most difficult parts of your journey of healing? Because a lot of people don't understand faith. Everybody, oh yeah, I love the Lord. You know, people who are really strong in their religion make it look easy, but it's not. Having faith is one of the hardest things to do. So can you talk about how you it supported you or how it may have challenged you during the most difficult parts in your healing?
Well, greatly it challenged me because it forced me to acknowledge the fact that um, that fear was not my friend.
Mm-hmm.
The thing was is that my fear was actually the shackles around my ankles and my
Mm-hmm.
wrists
Mm-hmm.
and my comfort zone, which I built from the walls, was actually my prison. It really wasn't a comfort zone,
Okay.
and so because of that, I missed out on a lot of opportunities and even cultivating a deep relationship with the Lord.
Okay. So what I'm hearing her say, you guys, because I'm good at I've done this so many times. What she's saying is what it did was basically the fear. It allowed her to see that the fear was her chains. It was wrapped around. It was like chains around her wrist and her ankles. It was her prison, and because of this fear, it made her miss opportunities that could have helped her in her healing journey. And that was the thing. That faith. Her faith showed her. It supported her by showing her that this is what fear was doing to her, and that was also her challenge of getting out of her comfort zone and diving into faith and releasing that fear. Is that correct?
That is correct. It challenged me
Okay.
and supported me.
It challenged her and supported her. There we go. I told you we getting that message out there today, Miss Carol. If I gotta be the interpreter, that's what I'm gonna do. This is another challenge, you guys. This is another challenge. This is faith. The faith
Yes.
being tested right now, but that's okay because we know how to fight. So,
Yes.
self
Yes.
care, especially without guilt, is a powerful message that you promote. You promote that
Mm.
self care. How did you learn to prioritize your own self care among the pressures that you face? Because I know that you are a hard worker. You are a hard working woman. I've known that just in the time that I've met you. So, how do you prioritize self care without guilt?
I'm still working on that one.
I got you because I'm still working on that one too, Miss Carolyn.
I'm
She said she's
still
still
working
working.
on it.
You know
But
what? That's
I've
good.
learned to slow down a little bit, and two things that I practice is mindfulness and I practice gratitude.
Mindfulness and gratitude. Those are the two things she practices, mindfulness and gratitude. Because again, I believe self-care, things that help us learn how to love and care for ourselves are always the hardest part of the journey. We can
Yes.
forgive this person, we can get over that situation, but learning how to love and care for
Hmm.
ourselves, that's something that we always fight with. But you know what though? I'm still trying to get through that as well. So don't
Yes.
worry about it. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm again, we got like I said, we got this. Um, so many survivors feel silence. Ooh, Jesus. Many survivors feel silence or invisible in their pain. How did you find your voice? And what advice do you give others who are struggling to speak their truth?
That's a good one. That's a real good one. I didn't find my voice until I published my book.
Okay, you're gonna have to repeat that one because I didn't catch that one. You didn't find your voice until you.
Published my book.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
got you. Until
Mhm.
she published her book, you guys. That's what helped her find her voice. It's called "I Broke Up with Fear." Is that the book you're talking about?
Actually the book name is God, Why Did You Save Me?
God, why did you save me? Okay, you show right. You show right. I'm sorry for getting that one
No,
wrong.
that's okay. But that book is gonna come out in a little bit.
Oh, you guys, I'm jumping the gun. Sorry, we didn't say that. We didn't say that. Shh. So she found her voice when she wrote her book. So can you tell us a little bit about this book? How did this help you find your voice?
Well, actually, when I was in my early 20s, the Lord told me that I was going to write a book, but at that time I
Mm-hmm.
was a single mother. So it was like when in one ear and came out the other.
Mm-hmm.
And not until 2023, November the 1st, is when that book was published. The book is 7 chapters and it's just a snapshot of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just talking about the trauma, talking about my faith and the transformation, the healing process that I went through, from a child to an adult. And so the book is basically dedicated to the women who are hiding in the shadows of fear and shame, and to let them know that there is life on the other side.
No, what she was saying was that she found her voice when she wrote her book, and that the
Mhm,
Lord called her to write her book years ago, but she was a single mom,
mhm,
obstacles, and she wasn't ready, but that she finally wrote the book, and it's snapshots of her life, and her book was published in 2023. Is
mhm.
that correct, Miss
That is
Carolyn?
that is correct. November the 1st, 2023.
I don't know if you answering because I cannot hear you at all. I can see that you're on the computer screen, but I
Hello.
cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay.
So that was correct, right? You said that
Yes.
basically. Okay,
Yes.
so we're going to talk about I broke up with fear.
Mhm.
This is it's a very strong declaration, and apparently I gave a spoiler that that's going to be her second book. You guys, I apologize. um, but that's a very strong declaration. I broke up with fear. What does
Yes.
breaking up with fear mean to you on a daily basis, and how do you keep fear from kind of creeping back in?
Oh gosh. Like you said, it's a strong declaration, but it's also a daily thing.
Mm-mm, this one is really broken up. This one was I can't even get you on this one.
Is this better?
Mm-mm.
Is this
No, I
better?
can't. I don't hear you at all.
Is this better?
It's better. Yes. Yes. Okay.
That's better. Okay.
That's
Uh,
better.
okay. Breaking up with fear is, like you said, it's a strong declaration, but it's also a,
Mm-mm.
it's
No,
not better.
it went out again. It went out
How about
again.
here? How,
Mm-mm.
that's not better. Is that better?
Actually, I think it's getting worse.
How about here?
No, ma'am.
Mm, how about here? Still not.
And
Okay.
that's funny because you were working just fine before we went live.
Is- how about here?
Uh,
Hello? How about here? I
yeah,
can't
okay
hear
then.
you. How about there?
Mm-mm.
Still not good. Okay.
No, ma'am.
I don't know. How about here?
Mm-mm. I can't. I cannot hear. It's like so bad.
Okay. How about here?
I don't know where you were sitting
About
at first. That was perfect, and then it just stopped working for us.
here?
Okay, let's try. Where are you at right now? Can we try that now?
How is this?
Mm-mm.
How about this?
No, ma'am.
How about this?
Mm-mm.
How about this?
No.
Okay.
You know what we can do, Miss Carolyn? If you want, we could try again next Friday at the same time. We could
Okay.
try it next Friday, and not, every Friday that I have free, because next Friday is my solo Friday, and I could just have you come back that Friday, and we could try to see if we can get you on here, because I really, really want you to tell you. I heard your story on my summit, and it coming from me is fine, but coming from you, you can tell it in a way that's going to resonate with people. And I want to
Yes.
make sure, I want to give you I want to give you this opportunity. I don't want to have to keep, even when we interpreting for you, I don't mind, but this is your stage, and I want it to be about you. So if you want, you could just try. We could try back again next week, and I'll just deal with the audience because they're a wonderful audience, and they're very patient, and they are aware that healing and loving and is all this takes time. So
Yes.
would you want to do this next week at the same time?
Yes. We can try it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, did you say yes?
Yes. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
Okay. Okay.
What I'll do is if you're okay with it, you can jump off and just text me on Messenger, and then we'll go, and then I can go from there. Okay. So her jumping off is basically me feeling like she's saying that we're going to do this next week. So that's kind of what happens, you guys. Sometimes when we're in the middle of trying to heal the community, something tries to jump in our way to prevent us from doing that. So what I'm going to do is thank you guys all. You guys were being super patient with us, because her story is worth hearing. She break up with fear. I mean, I love that because fear has a tendency to stop us from doing everything that could be coming our way. I've always been the type to kind of jump in with both feet. I've never allowed fear to prevent me from doing things, but I've seen how fear can kind of paralyze someone, keep someone in a situation where they are stuck in an abusive relationship because they are afraid of what's going to happen if they leave, whether it's them not being able to support themselves, whether it's not them being drugged back into the situation. So that's that's a very strong topic, and I would love to have you guys have her to share it with you guys because she does know how to present it in a way better than I can because it's her story. Just like I share my story, nobody can share my story the way I can. And even with me trying to help her, no one can share her story the way she can. So we're going to come back next week with her. So this week is a wing it week. Um, sharing with you guys what I was doing this summer. I'm going to again be hosting all this year. I'm going to be hosting summits. And these summits are for people like Miss Carolyn who wants to share their story of healing, of how they overcome things that traumatize them over adversities. My story is one of adversities. I have had to speak on my story so many times now. It's like I feel the power in sharing my story. I feel the power in helping a community understand that just because someone beat you to dang near nothing, that you can still rise from the ashes like a phoenix. That's what I love about this community is because we are survivors. We are all phoenixes who rose from the ashes to come and support each other. So I am going to end the show early this week because my guest was having technical difficulties, and I thank all of you for your patience. I thank all of you for your understanding. It's not always simple. She's a good woman. She's needs to share a story, and I want to be that one to share for her. So I'm going to say good night to all of you, every last one of you. But hold on, I always have something to say. Courage. This is the courage that every survivor needs. the courage to face your own truth, to stand in your power, to keep moving forward no matter the obstacles. So I'm going to thank you guys for being patient with me, for being parts of Inside Sights of a Survivor, and for being loyal to my helping this community by sharing my story. Your journey, your healing, and your voice, they're all the reason that this work exists. Standing tall, keep breaking free, and keep walking in your truth. And until next time, stay strong and be well. This is PJ from Insights of a Survivor. Thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful evening. Mwah!